Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another Friday the 13th Spooktacular. I was going to say another episode of the podcast, but it is not that, my friends.
This is the specials.
This is the specials.
Is the Spooktacular.
Spooktacular. We are going through all of the Friday the 13th comics, the miniseries at least, and because they're forgotten, and I want to bring them back. I gotta, just like in Freddy versus Jason, I need them to remember the terror that was in. That way they are scared of, these spooktaculars again.
Matt is also wearing his Jason Lives t-shirt.
Well, yeah. I wear that like every day.
Every day.
If you look at all my videos, there's like some sort of Jason shirt on them. So, but yeah. This one was an interesting one. This is called Friday the 13th Badland. It's 2 issues long, and it's by Ron Mars and Huddleston. I don't remember what the dude's first name. Mike Huddleston. I know who Ron Mars is because he created Kyle. Well, I don't know if he created, but he did. He wrote a bunch of the Kyle Rayner Green Lantern, famous for putting Kyle Rayner's girlfriend in a refrigerator after she got murdered.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm unaware of any of that.
Every time I find that issue, I buy it just for funsies, just to have like 10 copies of the refrigerator issue, as it's called. But yeah, it's a famous Green Lantern story that like got a lot of shit in the 2000s. So like right when I was at the comic store, I was like, hey, is it okay to put women in refrigerators? And then as we were talking about that, this Badlands has a bit of this in it as well. So
Badlands definitely.
We'll talk about. We'll get into it, people. But I mean, it's a little different because Green Lantern, superhero comic, Friday the 13th, fucked up horror comic. But there's some fucked up shit in this. So, this one I will say has 2 narratives that don't really make any sense together. But I was for it. I was like, I would read this like yearly. Just for fun. It was like I could blow through it, and it was just like a blast to read.
Yeah.
I liked the art a lot in it, too. I thought it was good art.
Yeah, but it was like, as we go through this, like, it's hard to, because we kept trying to be like, are these supposed to piece together? Is there a connection here we're missing?
Yeah, there's 2 separate stories going on that have nothing to do with each other.
And Jason's only in one of them.
And yeah, and they're both different time periods, too. So,
yeah.
like one is supposed to be, I think, Donner Party-ish.
Yeah.
Even though, that's in the Rockies, and this isn't in the Rockies. So.
Yeah, I just assumed this was like exploring the West and like moving out west.
Yeah, so like it's definitely like some trackers or whatever that are trying to find their way in the early 1900s or late 1800s, and they're in a blizzard. They're caught in a blizzard. That's where we start, and that's where we see this is called Badlands, and there's 3 guys,
3 ruffians,
three rough guys, 2 kind of regular sized people, 1 big dude, and they're in a blizzard, and they're like, oh my god, we gotta get out of this blizzard if we can, and they see what's that called?
A hut.
I mean, it's a hut, but I think it's a wigwam. It's a Native American.
It is.
Like,
I don't know what this one would
skin.
be specifically.
It's made of skin though, like leathers. So
yeah.
Yeah, but it's basically it's not a teepee, but it's I think it's called a wigwam.
Maybe I see. I don't want to say specifically.
Okay, whatever. Right, anyway. It's some kind of domicile, all right, that protects from the cold for Native Americans, and it's just as one. There's no like group of Native Americans. So, of course, this being the early 1900s, late 1800s, these people are not very. They're like, fuck them. We'll just go in there.
They got room in there. We'll be fine.
Plenty of room. So I guess we should say their names. One guy's name. Okay, if I forgive me if I get the names wrong. Like who's who? I believe is Ethan the good one or the bad one?
Ethan is the good one, I believe.
Okay, so Ben is bad. Ben is the big bad guy. He's the big one. Big Ben, we'll call him.
Yeah.
And then there's Joseph and Ethan who look almost identical. So sometimes I was like, I don't know who we're looking at. So, yeah, Ethan is the one who's good, and Joseph is the one who's kind of like in the middle between the 2. So, but Ben right away, he's like, let's break into that Native American's house. And as he bursts in, of course, there's a Native American woman giving, breastfeeding their child, waiting for, the fish to cook over the fire. And he just comes in and like pulls out his knife. He's like, hey, what's going on? And he just grabs one of the fishes.
And it starts out like, okay enough. It's like,
you could say innocent enough.
Innocent enough as far as like.
He just bursts into her house.
Yes, they just burst in the house, but they're like, they're like, hey, we're just going to stay in here to get warm, even though maybe there's like obviously communication is not there.
Yeah, I'm sure she knows exactly what he's saying.
Yeah. But
3 white men just come into your house
Yeah.
as you're naked breastfeeding your child,
yeah,
and I'm sure it's like, hey, no problem.
I'm just saying. I was surprised.
All right,
at
John, we
how
know
it
where you
escalated.
stand. We know where you stand.
I was surprised how it escalated. That's all.
Right, make America great is what you're saying.
Whoa. Anyway, so we cut to also in the woods,
Also in the
But
woods,
now
also a blizzard,
also a blizzard,
but present day.
Yeah, more like
Present
present day. There's these 3 kids like coming through with like snow gear on. They're like, oh gosh, I can't see. There's something up ahead, and then they see like a house.
Yeah, a regular looking house, and we got 3, like we said, 3 kids. There's one guy named Jeremy. There's one guy
There's Jeremy. Diane is the girl.
Yes.
And then was it Paul or Phil? Pardon me. Phil.
There you go.
And they start with a P.
Yeah, there you go.
Phil.
Close enough. Samsonite. So it's these 3, and they find this house, and they're like, cool, we'll just have a fire. We got out of here enough. And they're like, okay, I guess we'll like sleep by the fire because that will, keep us warm since the house isn't very, I guess, insulated and whatnot. But there are rooms. So, of course, as you have, 2 guys and a girl, at least one guy has to score with the girl. It's a Jason comic,
Yeah, exactly.
So, but before we get to that part, we cut back to the Native Americans who, of course, they're also looking to score now because they're like, I ate. Ben's like, I ate. Now I want to fuck.
Yeah, and they're looking. He looks over at the woman, and she is also staring at them, like scared out of her mind because she's like, what are these
they're
3
going
white
to
men
murder
doing
me.
here? Yeah,
And my child. Hopefully, my husband comes home soon and won't. Like, obviously, something's gonna happen when the husband comes home and sees 3 white guys in the house.
yeah.
With this woman who's terrified his wife and their baby. Like, it's not gonna end well, even if it was not meaning evil, like John thinks. So.
Wow.
I'm just throwing you under the bus as much as possible. But yeah, anyway, he looks at her. He's like, she's staring at us. Maybe I'm going to stare at her. And I'm going to, like, fuck her. And, like, so Ben goes all crazy. And he's like, I ate. Now I want to fuck. And so he, like, he walks over to her, grabs her baby by the wrist.
Like, this is
just
all
like,
horrid.
This is, like, trash or whatever. And is like, hey, Joseph, grab this baby while I fuck this girl. And then Joseph's like, well, I mean, I guess so. Like, but also I want to have seconds, like sloppy seconds or whatever. So when you're done raping her, I will also like to rape her. So Joseph, stand-up guy, he's like, as Ben's, trying to rape this woman, she's fighting him off. Also, there's nudity in this comic, which is interesting because it's also a DC comic. So, and I did not think there would be nudity in this, but there is. So. Or at least in this scene, like this kind of scene was like, whoa.
I was still surprised.
I was surprised. But it was the Wildstorm imprint, so I guess they're kind of like, no one reads this. Like, it's the horror book. Of course, there's going to be stuff like this. So I don't know. It just seemed like a little bit out of place on this scene, at least. But he's like, yeah, Ethan. Or no, he says, Joseph, why don't you give Ethan the baby so that you can hold her down since you're going to have seconds anyway. And he's like, oh, great idea. And so he gives Ethan the baby. So Ethan is holding the baby, and he's like, guys, I can't believe you're doing this. Stop it. What are you doing? And they pay any attention to him. Yeah. And then they rape her. As you do, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like I said, it escalated, and I didn't expect it.
Yeah. But then we get the actual, like, nudity, which I expected in this, which is you get, what's her name? Diane and Jeremy. They start shacking up in one of the rooms, or actually in the same room.
In the same room where Phil is sleeping, and they're like, she's like, stop, because he's like trying to, cop a feel or whatever, and she's like, he's right over there.
He's rounding second, man. What are you talking about?
Well, it starts off copping a feel or whatever.
Anyway, yeah, rounding second.
Yeah. I don't know the basics.
God damn it, John! What kind of a red-blooded American are you? Jesus.
I was a football guy. Touchdown.
There's no football metaphor for this, all right?
Anyway, so yeah, they start fooling around. They're like, oh, we should go in, the other room so we can, we get away from Phil, who's like literally right over there.
Yeah, he's going to hear us. We don't want to hurt Phil's feelings, because apparently he has a crush on her.
I guess, but of course that's how it always goes in these comics and movies.
Yeah.
Oh, the
funny story. They actually had this moment where I am Phil in real life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, except I woke up and was like, "What the fuck?
What is going on?"
Again, I just laid there and just was like heartbroken.
It was like one of those sad parts in a movie.
Yes.
You just pan.
I'm sorry, said what?
Sad parts in a movie.
Parts in the movie.
He just pans over to Matt, like holding the blanket, a single tear coming down, like
exactly,
just whimpering quietly to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what
sorry.
happened. Fuck Jeremy. You know, I was in this movie in this comic. I was like, fucking Jeremy,
Fucking Jeremy,
son of a bitch. But anyway, Claire and Jeremy are going at it.
Diane and Jeremy.
I'm sorry, Claire. I don't know why I said Claire.
Was it Claire?
No,
is that her name?
I just for some reason thought her name was Claire.
This is also going to turn into the therapy session, Matt. Let's go through this.
Sure. No, there's no Claire in my life, so
okay.
But
so Diane and Jeremy go in the other room.
They go in the other room, and they're like, because they don't want to hurt Phil's feelings.
And this comic gets a little graphic. Yeah, like they take off their clothes and
she like straddles him naked, and she's like riding him.
Although the bottom scene of this panel is actually my favorite in the whole comic. She's riding him, and she like leans back, and then
she's trying to be quiet. He's like, you got to be quiet, don't go too overboard. And then she looks out the window as she's about to like climax or whatever, and sees Jason staring at her. What's up? And like she's like, and like he thinks that she's coming, and she's like, I thought I told you to be quiet, babe. And then she looks again. Jason's gone. He's not there anymore. She's like, I saw him.
I saw someone out there.
Saw who? And then of course, fucking Phil wakes up and is like, What's going on? Oh my God. What are you guys doing in here? And his heart's broken. And, they have a big little fight about it. And then, of course, then we cut back to the horrible, horrible white men in this comic from the early 1900s. They, now Ben is smoking. He's satisfied. He's like,
now time for a smoke.
Yeah, after you eat and you fuck and you smoke. That's what you do as, a white guy or whatever. And then, so
she gets her baby back, and she's huddled in the corner with the baby, and while they're all kind of like Ethan is like kind of basically cursing him out a bit as far as like, I can't believe you did this, like blah blah blah, like this is horrible.
And Joseph, sloppy seconds, we're gonna call him. He sees her reach for something under a blanket, and he's like, oh, she's getting something, and he like she's got a gun or something, and he just shoots her in the face. And her baby.
Yeah, it shoots her and the baby.
Kills them both. And then reaches under the blanket that what she was grabbing, and it's like a rattle.
It's a rattle.
Good job, man. She had a gun.
Yeah, it's just, oh my God.
Yeah. So then, right
at that moment,
the husband walks in and is like, babe, and then freaks the fuck out and then starts trying to attack. I believe it's Ethan he tries to attack, who's the only guy who's not actually a bad guy in this. And then they shoot him in the face with a musket, and he runs out. And like, I guess his face was super fucked up because the next time they show him, he's like got a
he got shot in the face. So they chase out after him a bit in the woods, but they follow him outside, and then he's gone. They don't know where he is.
Footprints disappear, and then we cut back to the room. The sex has stopped. Jason is gone, and now they're like, well, what do we do? There was a guy outside. Yeah. That's the end of the first comics. We see the Native American man with a bloody hatchet. He is ready to kill some people. His face is all fucked up because it got shot in his jaw and everything. And then we see Jason standing outside, and he is looking. I like this Jason is like, if there was I kind of wish there was an animated cartoon series just with this look. It's got a very like stocky and like animated series.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Like the New Adventures of Batman animated series. Yeah, it's got that feel. But for Jason,
like this could be Bane.
Yeah, it could be Bane, but I'd rather have a Jason comic. A Jason animated TV show by DC.
That wacky Jason going around killing people.
I'm for it. I mean, might as well do that on HBO. What else are you gonna do? So then issue 2 starts, and this is where they start like kind of. They're trying to like, I don't know, show an overlap because it'll be like show one panel of them back in the day, then show next panel of like Phil and the new kids talking to each other. But basically now they are similar just because there's a madman who can kill people outside and they're inside. That's it.
But that's the only connection. We're really piecing where I thought maybe this was like a what if take, like maybe Jason was like part is like a Native American spirit, like from years past or something. I was trying to figure out
That would be
a
ridiculous.
deeper
I would
connection
hate
of
that
it.
actually if that was the story.
Well, I mean, if they was like a what if, like just a one-off Jason story, like that's fine. I would be,
I guess,
be interested in it.
I'd be like, Ron Mars, you're stupid. But, you know.
But well, either way, it just seemed odd. Like yeah, by the end, it's like okay, well, we're similar. Like there was not really a connection.
I guess, yeah. So it's just people dying from a person who should be dead.
Yeah.
So, so anyway, the kids are like arguing now because Phil's mad and he's like, "Man, fuck you guys! I'm gonna go outside. I'm so mad at you." And he's like, "I gotta go
I'm
walk
gonna show
this
you.
off."
There's nobody out there too.
Yeah, exactly. And like Jeremy tries to stop him, and he's just like, "Fuck you, Jeremy. I thought we were buds." So anyway,
Jeremy's like, okay, like they argue for a minute, him and Diane, and Jeremy's like, okay, I'll go out and get him.
Diane is like, "You have to go get. Like, do you ever want this again? You're gonna go out there and get Phil, all right? Bitchy Phil, all right?" And then the best thing that happens is Jeremy is looking for Phil, and Jeremy's like, "Phil!" and he's yelling, and then all of a sudden Jason
disappears
in front of him and chops his head right off, which is fantastic. So he dies first, and then and they don't even know they don't know where they are or anything. Like they don't know that they're at Camp Crystal Lake, I'm assuming, or that this might not even be that area. They don't even say where this is. Maybe Jason now stalks the Rockies. I don't know. But maybe that's what the common area is. This is just like the Bermuda Triangle of the Rockies or something. I don't know. Where Jason appears every now and then. I don't know. They don't really tie anything together like that. But, I mean, we can. We can do that because we have imaginations.
That's right.
But, yeah, so they kill Jeremy first, or Jason does. And then we cut back to the three guys hiding from the Native American angry husband and now widower.
Yes, he's out somewhere, and they're all back in the hut, and they're all arguing, and Ethan points a gun at Ben and is like, "Mother, fucker, I cannot believe you did this," and now we've got this madman out there to deal with.
And I think Joseph runs out, right? Like he's like, "I gotta get out of here."
Yeah.
So he runs away, and then all of a sudden we see a hatchet cut through the skins of the back right behind Ben, and he grabs Ben by the hair and pulls him outside and cuts his head in half with the axe.
Yeah, just
or the hatchet.
right in the middle of it, and it's a really cool panel.
Yeah, good panel of brains everywhere and everything. Good violence in this comic.
Yeah, very much so.
Very satisfying. That's what I mean. When you're reading a Jason comic, you want to have some good violence,
Exactly.
So, and then I did think some of these panels were a little dark. I don't know if that was just the digital one we're reading, but
yeah.
Maybe in the actual comic it was not so dark. But sometimes I was like, what's going on in this exactly? Sometimes I can't tell. And the same with the next one we read too. But yeah. So then Phil found Jeremy. Comes in the cabin. He found Jeremy. He's like, fucking Jeremy's dead. And she's like, what? Diane's like, what do you mean he's dead? He's fucking decapitated. Like his head.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he's like, we gotta get out of here. And he starts boarding up the windows and pushing furniture in front of the doors and stuff. And he's like, we gotta find something before. And then all of a sudden, I guess you can see Jason in the window watching him do this, and then he just takes, I don't know how he has it, but Jason has a fire poker.
I thought it was one of the ski things.
Yeah, you're right, it's a ski pole. I was trying to figure out what it was.
Yeah, it's a ski pole.
It's a ski pole.
So it's from they probably had.
They put their stuff outside.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. I was like, what the fuck is? I don't go skiing, so I'm not up on that sport.
I have one. Better Off Dead is one of my favorite movies, and there's skiing. I have no sport in that. That's the only reason I know.
I have no reference for skis. So okay, yeah, ski pole. That's what it was. I was like, what is that? A fire poker? But yeah, so he just shoves it through the wall so hard that it like an arrow. Goes through fucking Jeremy.
Goes through his whole head.
Phil's head, and yeah, totally right through his eye, explodes his brains out of one side, and then now we got the girl, the last girl, and we're like, oh my god, is she gonna make it? She's on her own. And then we cut back to Ethan. He's calling out for Joseph now that he's the last one left. Joseph ran away. He knows Ben's dead.
Yeah, so he's trying to figure out where.
He's trying not to get killed by this Native American guy. Yeah, and so he's like, Joseph, where are you? And then he finds Joseph, who's been, I guess, pushed into a tree branch.
Yeah, he's been impaled on a tree branch of some sort.
Yeah, I don't know if he fell backwards or what. But then closely right behind him, we see a hatchet, and he gets hit in the face.
It cuts out. It gets cut his ears off. His ear gets cut off.
Oh yeah, it goes down the side of his face, He gets like an Uncle Buck, like I've been known to shave, gnats or whatever. And then the Native American guy picks up a rock and smashes his fucking face,
And
like
it is-
very, very violently.
It is very violent. Like it just shows the bottom jaw with like teeth falling out, and like the rest of his head is smushed.
Yes.
It was another good panel.
And then we come back to the girl fighting Jason, and she actually grabbed the ski pole out of Phil's head, like literally, like out of his brains, and then stabs Jason with it and pushes it all the way through him, which I thought was a pretty good push.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really slow him down, but it lets her be able to run away for a second. But she trips on a rock.
The same rock?
Stupidly. Maybe this. Oh.
That's what I wouldn't.
You know what? Good point. Maybe that is the same rock. Who knows? Because you see, I don't know. They show like, I don't know. It seems like they're trying to tie stuff together, like you said, but I don't know. Maybe not. And so, but she trips on a rock, which apparently has a skeleton, crushed underneath it, a head. And then as she trips, he grabs her hair and fucking cuts her head off. And his fans, or I guess he slits her throat, is what he does, because her head's not rolling.
Yeah.
But just blood all over the place. And then he drags her body. This is the only thing I was like, I don't know about that. Basically, it shows him dragging her body, at least, into the lake.
That's like frozen over.
It's
with
frozen
a
over,
hole in
yeah.
it.
And there's a hole in it. And then the Native American guy grabs his wife and brings her down into the lake with him. And so he dies there. And then it just shows them floating next to each other, like in the lake. But I'm like, I mean, how does that?
And that's what I was saying. I couldn't. So, like, is it that, like, it's like an old Native American spirit that, like, embodies the lake and or Jason? And, like, so that's the connect. It was weird.
Well, like I said,
It's
I don't
not
think this is Crystal Lake. So, I mean.
It's not explicit. So we really don't know. It's just like a unique, like.
I guess. Yeah, I have no idea. But is this a Ron Mars strong story? I mean, it's not as strong as Kyle Rader's girlfriend in a fridge strong. But. But, I had a fun time.
But it's fun, yeah.
I actually had a pretty good blast, especially once it started to pick up. People started dying from Jason. I had a pretty fun time reading that.
Yeah.
I did think because, like, the Jason stuff happens mostly in issue 2. And, like, the very end of issue 1.
You got some comic book boobs, I mean.
Yeah, I was fine with that, whatever. Very weirdly animated looking stuff, yeah. But the Native American stuff, I was like, this is fucking brutal. Like,
yeah, that was
like,
hard.
This was
panel.
Yeah, I was like, I'm surprised DC's editors like, yeah,
this is fine. Yeah, how many eyes did this get past? And they were like, that's fine.
Looks good to me. So, but yeah, I definitely actually would read this again. Like if I had a stack of these, I'd check these out again. So I don't know. I thought that's how we're rating these ones. We're going. Did I like it? Would we read it again? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not giving these 5s or whatever. Like,
no,
we're not rating these things. Way. These are not made for those. These are rating for fun or not fun.
Yeah, exactly. It stinks. No, it was good.
Yeah, I give this fun. I give this 2 fun thumbs up.
It was fun for sure.
So yeah, Badlands, check it out if you can. Part 1 and 2, if you can find it in single issues.
Out in single issues in the comic world.
I'm telling you, next Halloween you're gonna see DC come out with an omnibus of all the Friday the 13th. And not only that, apparently because there was actual ads in this book. They had this time they had the license for Freddy and Leatherface.
I saw that, yeah.
So I'm like, I want to see all that in the same. Just a horror compendium of all the Wildstorm stuff. I would totally like that.
That would be really cool.
But of course they won't do that because fuck them. But whatever. Actually, do it. Listen to this.
That's printing money. You hear us, DC?
Yeah, you have Matt Hansen's $70 or whatever that omnibus is going to cost.
Plenty of people will buy that. There's so many horror fans. Possibly. No, they would. They would.
You're right. You're probably because you can't find the issues.
Exactly.
So if you can't find the issues, it's definitely pretty than an omnibus. I would totally pick it up. But so that is Friday the 13th, Badland. And so next week or next Monday, we're going to be next time we're going to be reading. This is my favorite title. Friday the 13th, How I Spent My Summer Vacation.
I'm so excited.
And it's a good one. So I specifically remember buying this one in the comic book store when it came out. So, and this one actually came out when I was at the comic book store too. So I probably bought this one too. I just don't remember reading it. But the other one I actually remembered reading. So
cool.
But yeah, so and we're doing these all special, and we should pretty much be ending the Friday right before Halloween. So keep listening. Let us know how you guys are liking them, And we'll see you on the next Spooktacular.
The next Spooktacular.
Bye.